What is up, Mind Buzz Universe? Welcome back to another podcast episode of the Mind Buzz. I am your host, GILL, and working the board today, this morning, this afternoon, or this evening. Did I say this evening already? Whenever you're listening to this podcast is the lovely Amber right here, right next to me, right now. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
What's up? I've been waiting all day.
You threw me off a little right now. Threw me off on my game. Get me back in the game.
I'm
Get
trying
me back in the game.
I'm trying to keep you on your little toes.
No.
Your little
you
twinkle toes.
You usually say something and then it's cue the music. And I left a big space.
You know what? I think, okay, so how many hours do we have in the day? We have about 24 hours in the day.
Not about, we do. It's known.
There's no gray area when it comes to hours and time.
No.
When we have in the day. But I have, I think about what I'm going, on podcast days, ladies and gentlemen, I think about what I'm going to say at the top. It's usually, let's go. But I've been wanting to change it up a little bit and
Not say anything?
And today was a not say anything kind of day. So
well,
I apologize.
That's why I was looking at you like, okay.
Oh, okay.
And then you looked at me like, duh, go. And I'm like, how
Come
am I
on.
supposed to know?
How many times have you done this?
We've been doing it for 5 years, and for 5 years you've had something to say.
Maybe I don't anymore.
Okay.
Maybe
Let
I
me know.
don't.
Let me know.
Let you in?
Let me in.
Let me in.
Let me in.
Well, we're letting in. I'm letting this coffee in because I've been waiting solemnly waiting all day for this coffee. I had coffee this morning, but
Hey, did you make coffee twice this morning?
Yeah, I had to. You know why?
What
Because
happened?
No, you're gonna get mad at me.
I know. I already know what happened.
You're
You
gonna get mad
didn't
at
add
me.
water
There
to
wasn't
the
water.
reservoir,
Yeah.
and it didn't. I just know.
No, but it came out. Water came out. The only thing is, it wasn't hot, and that's why I noticed there was like a little bit of espresso at the bottom of the cup of the tin thing, and it wasn't hot. And I was like, "What's going on?" And I looked at the reservoir, and the water was low. So,
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry. Okay.
So I woke up because I went to sleep really early. So I woke up when you left.
Okay.
And I was laying there listening to your every move because I could hear.
As a woman does in the morning.
But our
Men.
kitchen is connected to, or like the wall is, we share a wall with our kitchen, the bedroom and the kitchen wall. Well, I don't know how to explain it.
We share a wall with the kitchen.
We share a wall with the kitchen. The kitchen's our roommate.
I used to pay rent, actually.
And then I said, okay, he's turning on the machine. And then I heard the machine on. And then I heard you put in to grind the beans. And then I said, okay, he grinded them.
Yes.
And then I heard when you pushed it for it to like, dispense. And then I was like, oh, okay, he got his thing. Oh, and then I heard you heat up the water. And then I was like, oh, cool, he's getting his coffee. And then I heard it again. And then I was like, what happened? And then I said, there's no water in the reservoir.
You knew it.
I knew it.
You knew it.
I just know it.
You just know it. That's what happened. So I apologize.
That's fine. You bought it, so
I apologize.
You'll have to buy another one if you mess it up.
I apologize for that. But that's what happened. See, I don't know.
You learn because now you know that all the lights have to be lit up before you use it.
I turned it off though.
You did. You've been turning it off.
I've been turning it off.
It's okay.
See, when you get an espresso machine, you need I don't know. I don't know how people operate something like that without knowing, like, prior knowledge.
There's I'm not going to say there's no way, but you can't get like a, I don't want to call it professional because it's not a big
No, it's not,
one,
but at least a little bit of
but it's a higher grade than just one that you put in and dispense it.
Sure.
Yeah. and you do have to have some knowledge, or at least a couple hours of like YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? YouTube Academy?
YouTube University.
University.
Yeah.
But you did a good job. Proud of you.
Duh. All right, let's bring in today's guest, ladies and gentlemen. Stand-up comic, very funny. Please give it up for Mat Salud, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi, how's it going? Glad to be here.
What's up, Matt?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
How do you
Good,
pronounce
dude.
your last name? How do you pronounce your last name?
Salud.
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 So it is. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people say that we look alike, so I wanted to meet you in person. So.
You know who else I apparently look like is Marco Trinidad.
Oh, I know Marco. Yeah, Marco. So he did Ricky's podcast, the Ominos, with Ricky Nove. Oh my god, dude, I had so much fun. The three of us had so much fun.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys look alike.
We do. Usually some people say, "Oh, like Gil, you look like this person," and it's just like, dude, what is that? How? No way. But hey, we're two.
You look like two good-looking guys.
We're two
Yes.
good-looking guys. We're two wild and crazy guys.
I wouldn't say you guys are like twins, but you look like you'd be family.
Yeah.
Familiar, like brothers or
Cousins?
at least cousins.
I feel like we emit the same affect. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we dress very similar. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I could see
So,
that.
yeah.
Your guys' hair too. You have like almost the same hair.
Yeah,
There's just you're Filipino?
I am. Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
I'm not, but I get that all the time. Do you speak Tagalog?
Very broken Tagalog. I don't conjugate verbs correctly. My grammar's bad. But my dad says I speak well enough for, like, if you were to drop me in Manila, I could get by. Like, I sound illiterate, but like I know enough to, like,
You sound like a second grader.
Yeah.
So you're what we call no sabo, but in
Over there.
Basically, I just learned that term recently. Is that what Hispanic kids get called when they don't speak Spanish?
Yes.
Yeah.
No sabo.
Yeah.
No sabo.
Do
Sabo
they-
means speak.
It's 'cause
It's like understand. Like sabo means like to understand.
Okay.
So if you say no sabo, it means
Gotcha.
like I
but the
don't
reason
understand.
but the reason they say no because it's not really I wouldn't say it's not a word, but
It's grammatically incorrect.
it's grammatically incorrect.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So you wouldn't say no sabo, you say no sé. But a lot of
really?
yes, but a lot of
Oh,
kids,
I didn't know that.
But that's one of the main things when kids that speak a little bit of Spanish, they'll say, no sabo, no, like I don't know is what they're trying to say.
Oh, I didn't
But
know
it's
that.
no sé. So then it just got coined as like you're someone that doesn't.
Yeah, you don't know how to conjugate correctly.
Yes.
So, okay. That's
Conjugate.
Conjugate. There you go.
What's conjugate? What is that?
It's the verb form. So like run is like the root
Oh,
word,
okay.
and then I ran. Like
okay.
the verb changes slightly based on the.
So to conjugate means to change the action
form
of the word? The form of the
it's
word?
the form of the word. So
Okay.
I ran. I'm trying to think. Running out of verbs. Oh my god.
What's another one?
Eat?
I eat.
Yeah.
I ate.
I
The
ate.
past tense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Eating?
Eating. Yeah.
Okay. Eaten?
Eaten. Yep. So to conjugate is
Okay.
you modify the form of the verb to correspond to the.
For a second, I was gonna say that eaten is the same thing as eating, but it's not.
Eaten.
No, eat.
No,
and
eating is active present tense.
Right.
Eaten is.
One is
active past
en
tense.
and one is ing.
I know, but I was thinking like eaten, like I was eating,
So
yo.
you don't know Spanish and you don't know English either. Got
Pretty
it.
much.
Noted. What do you know?
This conversation is actively freaking me out. I was trying to explain conjugation. I was like, I don't even think I understand how English works.
If you were nervous, you got even more nervous.
You know what I do know about? I do know about a little bit more. I do know about the death investigation of Kurt Cobain. Have you seen Soaked in Bleach?
No.
I watched that documentary over the weekend. Oh my god, dude!
This came out recently?
2015 recently.
It's about Kurt Cobain.
It's about Kurt Cobain.
Because I saw recently, I guess they're investigating the case again. I'm not clear on the details, but I don't know how this got open. I don't know if it's officially open, like they're reinvestigating, but I guess the official story is being cast doubt on.
Yes. Yeah, and I think now we can pull it up. Our Google is back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with our Google. You can Google search with us.
This is why you went down the rabbit hole, because I told you on Saturday.
Yeah, so Amber told me on Saturday that they're opening it up again, the death investigation of Kurt Cobain, and I was like, you know what? I want to literally do a deep dive of something, and I've had my mind on comedy for the past 32 years of my life. No, but the past couple of weeks I was like, dude, I need to focus on something else besides comedy, which I love comedy. The books, reading the books, audiobooks and everything, right? But I was like, I want to learn something else. And I love history. I love music. So I was like, well, why not look up this when Amber told me? I was telling her that I wanted to look up, it was either, I was in between two events, either the investigation of Kurt Cobain or the Epstein files. And I know I will go crazy with the Epstein files. I'm probably going to go crazy with this thing too. Right. But it was between those two things, and I was just like, Kurt Cobain for me.
Sure.
Because if it's the other thing, I will lose my mind over it. I already know. I already know myself. I will lose literally sleep and hours over this thing.
There's also so many files. I don't have the willpower to sift through, like, I don't know how many, like millions of pages now.
It's like millions.
So I would, to me, I would mitigate the process. I would work on a process on doing the research with it, because what are they, in PDF files right now? Like what?
No,
how what are they?
They're not. Have you seen them? Have you gone on the website?
I've conducted like a string search,
Mm-hmm.
Because someone sent me a photo. I guess he searched my name, and then it said like 6,000 results, and I guess he photoshopped that. So I went to confirm, and
Did you really?
He faked that. I was like, "There's no way." No, I've conducted a string search. I haven't like bothered. I think you need like a reader app.
To be able to see.
Yeah. I haven't been that invested.
I went on the website.
I'm just loving
because I seen a video that was kind of like, oh, okay. But I went on the government's website, and the way that I seen it, I guess I didn't see enough to see that I needed a reader, but maybe that makes sense. Okay. But there's just like a search bar, and you have to kind of know what you're looking for.
Right.
They're not in order. They're not in like so and so this, like, so you can literally you can type in like a celebrity's name, and then it'll show you every email.
Oh, so they're not PDF files.
No.
It's just it's on their own like web-based system.
Yeah, so you have to.
Oh, that's no fun.
So you really have to know what you're looking for, because you can't go from like, oh, this is the oldest to the newest, or it doesn't tell you a story, I guess, in like sequence. And the only reason that I went on to see, because part of me is like, I don't really, not that I don't want to know.
Because someone told her name was in there.
No, because somebody said my name was in there.
There's 6,000 results.
It's not that I don't want to know, but I feel like, okay, like you, like I don't want to go a little stir crazy. But I seen a video where they were talking about beef jerky. Have you seen that?
No.
So they were talking about...
This is crazy, dude.
So they're talking about beef jerky, right? So beef jerky is like named or like talked about in the files like thousands of times. And they were like, okay, like white beef jerky, like that's odd, right? And then so I went in and I typed in beef jerky, and of course, all these emails that were showing up from like the video I had seen surfaced, and they were saying that beef jerky, they're thinking that beef jerky is actually code for like human meat.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I'm not one to like fall into conspiracies or be like, yeah, that's what it is. Like, but when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that's really weird. Like, because beef jerky is dried meat, right? And a lot of times you don't have to refrigerate it. It can be in like, you know, cool places, things like that. And a lot of these emails were like, oh, the beef jerky's in the fridge. Oh, keep the beef jerky on ice. So and so one of the ones that I was like, that's weird. He said Jeffrey's going back to eating normal food.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where it was like, oh, so and so needs 10 pounds of beef jerky before he goes on his trip. Can you get it for us expedited overnight? Like why would so many people be this aficionados of beef jerky? Like, you know?
Oh, God.
And then what also kind of like I guess got me thinking after that was that they had this chef that was making the beef jerky, and the chef owned a restaurant called Cannibal.
What the fuck,
in New York.
Dude?
And it's like it's like real. It's like he really is a chef.
Pull up the chef. I want to know this guy. I want to see this guy. Yeah. But where did you see this? Where did you learn this from?
Well, I seen a video on TikTok of somebody. Okay. This person's doing like video series, but then I went into the government website.
Oh, so you looked this up?
Yeah.
You looked up beef jerky?
Yeah, and then I went into the government.
How many
website,
searches?
There's a bunch. There's thousands of emails.
Oh, okay.
And I went in, and then I read the emails. I read maybe like 25 emails that I was like looking at. Yeah, wow. I went in there.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Wow.
That's why I told you I was kind of scared of looking, because I was like,
no, keep going.
What if they have like a database or something?
Okay, so every week we need to get an update of your current searches on the Epstein files. We literally haven't talked about this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that?
Yeah.
You're understanding that right now. At all. And we've been getting a couple of requests for.
I think one of the most maddening things about looking into things like this is you can't do anything with the information.
Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Call the cops?
Yeah,
no.
It's like, I don't know, like ignorance doesn't help you, but also knowledge of the obscene just makes you sad. And you just have to sit there and just accept that, just, I don't know, we're being
that's what I'm saying, that I don't want to get like, oh my God, because I just think, like, yes, it's good to be informed, but how informed are you going to be till when you go crazy and nothing gets done?
But look, this is my point of view is that, okay, so, right, you took the time to look at some of this stuff, which most people don't. Most people will see a TikTok and take it at face value and say, oh, and then go ahead and start spreading whatever. Whether it's true or not, crazy or not, whatever. But you took the time at least to go look at the government page and look it up.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to be just saying things that I see.
Right. So, but you confirmed it. Now you're kind of doing the thing on TikTok, but instead you're on here talking about it.
Yeah.
Which it's a little bit, and plus you're going to show us too. Is that him?
Yeah, see? The Cannibal. At the Cannibal.
Chef Francis Derby?
Uh-huh.
At the Cannibal.
Yeah.
Wow. Sends word that Francis Derby, formerly of Taylor of, where's this bar at?
Omofuku, New York.
Oh, it's in New York.
Overseeing the kitchens at the Cannibal and sister establishment Resto for the last year, but now he will just focus his energy on Resto. Well, this is probably an old, this is from Eater, LA. But now he's like under fire because of everything that's happening and all these things. So that's one of the things that I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
But also what is weird too is like there's no subpoenas. Like nobody's getting subpoenaed, nobody's getting court-martialed. Like just because these things are out there and nobody's doing anything about it, right? I mean, what else is happening? Nothing.
It's
maybe.
bleak. I mean,
we see that nothing, but it could be happening. Something.
Nothing's happening.
I mean, they control the fucking FBI. They control.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what we can do.
And it's everybody. It's everybody in higher power that's coming out on there.
Another thing too is that I think, and maybe we can look this up because I think, as most of my stories will start off with, is I believe that because of the new files. There were like communication between whoever was handling the investigation of Epstein, that there was like more there was more emails that went against the original sequence of events of that night after he did do that to himself, and they were just so one of them was like the ligature marks on his neck were different. I seen
that today.
Yeah. So basically, ligature marks are the marks that are left after like strangulation, right? The marks on him were
going up. Right?
Yeah, were marks of somebody not doing it to themselves with like the noose, but with like actual like hands or something. It was more strangulation than it was asphyxiation. Pretty much. I seen
that today, and it said that the marks, if it was self-inflicting, they should have gone horizontal. Right, horizontal's this way.
Right. Yeah.
So they should have been horizontal, like any marks, and his were vertical, which are more like leaning towards someone doing the act of. And I think that was put out by his brother. That's what I seen earlier. That I guess his brother's coming out to talk about it or something like that.
And then also too that there was, I guess. One of them showing, like, the original report had him, like, without a shirt. Or I don't know which was which, but one of the reports showed him with a shirt on, and the other report showed him with a shirt off.
Right.
And then just, like, the extra linens that were in his cell are unheard of any, inmate possible. Like, and the room was made... That room that they were keeping him in was made it hard for somebody to do that to themselves.
Right.
So there all these weird coincidences, especially at that federal prison. Like, he's the most wanted person ever in that time. Ever. Like, just the amount of errors and failures, and two of the officers sleeping during that whole time. The camera that had an overview of his cell
There's like 30
being
seconds
off.
missing, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then throughout the investigation, you can obviously see, any video editor can see that if it's a raw file versus a file that's been edited. Right.
Isn't there like a skip too?
There's just all these weird little things that are happening, and just with this whole thing, and then plus with the extra emails it's wild. And I heard that there's 6 million. They've only released 3 million, and now the DOJ is saying that nope, that's it. That's all we have.
Well, it's been known, and that's what people are upset about, is that they don't.
But they said they were going to release more.
No, but they're lying, because then they know that if they release more, there's more names that they're trying to hide from. But what I was reading the other day was that they were saying that a lot of the survivors, they weren't even told that the files were going to be released, and a lot of them didn't give consent to be released, and their names are on there and things like that. So that's, I mean, as much as we want to, I don't know, I would say, like, as a culture, right? Kind of like we're on this hunt and it's almost exciting, but it's true. No, I'm not. I'm totally not. Whatever pops up is what pops up, but I'm not going to do any extra. But what I'm saying is there's something that thrills us about these conspiracies, and maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And it's crazy as like a culture that we're like that. But then we never think of like the survivors, like the people that don't want to come up or maybe want to forget it. And it's out there. And I think that was done on purpose to be very damaging by current administration to release it. Not because, there's something that we're going to find. I think it was to be more malicious in the whole thing, if you ask me. But I don't know. I'm just a small percentage of.
Yeah. I think what's very... I haven't been doing like the deep dive on the Epstein files. Mm-hmm. It just makes me sad. Yeah. I need to like... I find I need to be... The world is just generally so awful right now that there's like a medical term now, like news avoidance, so that way people like don't go insane. I haven't been engaging in total news avoidance, but like I have to be, for the sake of my like psychic energy, like I need to be very selective about
I agree.
What I devote my research time to,
right.
Especially if I can't do anything about it, if I can't do anything actionable, I just feel, and I learn about all these awful things and I just feel so impotent, like, just get locked in despair. But I think something that's incredibly frustrating is like during Pam Bomdi's like crash out, she's like, "Oh, so interesting. You didn't talk about this during Biden." I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of interesting that we took this long." Like I feel like if we talked about this a lot earlier, Trump probably wouldn't be in office right now. Like all that information about like how closely connected they actually were. Like we may have been able to stop Trump too if we talked about this like way earlier. I don't know why it took this long. I mean, I guess better now than
never.
Never, yeah.
So who was in? Remind me again. Who was in office when they got Epstein? It was Donald Trump, right?
Trump was in office, I believe.
Yeah.
It was during COVID. It was 2020.
Yeah, it was his
right?
first term.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, like you said, it's kind of, it makes you sad. And again, I know how like exciting and like everything it is, but it's real life and it's real people's lives. And it's like, I can't imagine being a survivor and having everything on the internet be a reminder all over again of these things and then seeing no one have any accountability for it. I really commend like other countries that are now, some of their top leaders were named and they're like going after
them. They got wild.
In India, they were like breaking down.
Can you pull up anything on India? Because I remember you telling me about that, but I didn't really look it up.
And I think that's how angry we should be. And I think we're angry, but we're not angry enough.
We're not angry enough. You know why? Because we're just like, another thing happened in United. You know what I mean? Like it's. I wouldn't say it's normal for us because it's not.
But we're desensitized now.
I think we're just so desensitized where we're just like, there's nothing we can do about it. Basically, what we said like 10 minutes ago. Who's gonna listen to us? Like the information is out there. Like, what can we do? Mm-hmm. Right, essentially. But I mean, other countries are doing a little bit more than we are, I guess.
To me, I just think it's crazy that everyone is in on it. Like, almost every country.
It's worldwide. This whole thing.
Crazy.
And it's just gonna get weirder and weirder.
But then what also frustrates me is like the internet. Everybody making content, everybody making their assumptions, all the weird stuff that people are like connecting and they said this and they use this letter so it means this and it means that and it's like all these conspiracies and is it diluting the truth or is it that crazy? That's where I ask myself things.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't
No, you don't have to answer it. It's just me.
This is a shot out in there. I mean, just So that's what I was trying to not get into all that.
Right.
But this is all just like, is that it?
Yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah, we should be doing that. So they're just protesting.
They're protesting.
What's the context? So the video. What are they saying?
Protests in New Delhi over Indian.
There's my neck.
Yeah, see. After Narendra Modi.
Oh, the current president.
Yeah, was named in documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein. So it's their president.
Yeah.
And they're pissed.
Also, too, I think they have more shame. Like they have more to be ashamed of versus like your leader. Their leader is probably this genuine dude that they think, right. I mean, we already know what a crazy character Trump is. So we're desensitized to him doing off the wall stuff. Like for them, I'm pretty sure they're just like, what the hell?
We thought you were a family man
or something.
Well,
I don't know.
So I'm not too well read on Indian politics, but Modi is actually a controversial figure himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's like a rabid Hindu nationalist, like super pro caste system.
Okay.
Like very anti-Muslim. He a controversial figure in India as well, and I'm sure that like may have added fuel to the fire.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then shit.
I don't know, but it's crazy. We'll see what happens in the next chapter of America. On episode 2 of America.
Tune in to United States of America.
But again, it's sad that we're so desensitized. It's like, what else? Every day it's something. I think we are.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Not enough to turn, I guess, the other way just yet. But enough to be
what would it take? What would it take for us to
I don't know. This is pretty bad, and
it's really bad.
Gotten to anywhere. No clue.
Part of the problem is there's no. I don't know that desensitized might be the right word. I feel like resignation might be more apt. It's just kind of like we're pretty outraged, but there's no outlets to channel our discontent into. And we just kind of have this like empty rage at our phones, like it can't be channeled into anything productive. I've seen some interesting schemes to like particularly because of like the Republicans just control like the 3 major branches of government right now, and it's just kind of like no one can hold them accountable. And so I've seen schemes that like we need to have like a another governing body, like a so-called citizens assembly, where it's from what I've read, it's supposed to be like jury duty, kind of like random citizens are selected to serve on this like body, and it's not elected officials, right? It's supposed to be random ordinary citizens like deliberating like pressing issues like in their local communities, probably, so that you're actually speaking to ordinary people.
Oh, okay.
Not these like career politicians, right? And so because it's totally random, you actually are getting like the voice of the people, like in representative government.
So how do they do that? So it's like, how local is it? Is it like state
I'm not too
city?
keen on the details. It's so from what I understand, it's supposed to be kind of like this bottom up council system. So there's like let's say like a Los Angeles citizens assembly, and then that branches out into statewide California.
Okay,
so then someone elect. I got to read more about it. But the basic idea is to have this like alternative governing institution where like ordinary people actually can speak, actually have a voice properly. When elected officials can't be held accountable. It's supposed to model like Greek democracy, because governing Greek democracy was also like a lottery system. Like that's how their elected officials were, because the idea was that when you try to like run for office, it becomes like a popularity contest. You will say anything to get in power, but when it's a lottery, it's just a random person, right? And so you're kind of dispersing power through randomness, and then the terms are limited, right?
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely like a gamble, but I don't know. I conventional democracy hasn't exactly served us well so far. So,
lottery system. That's what we need. We gotta run our government like an open mic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not like a book show. We need to run it like a lottery open mic.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Throw your names in the hat, and you just chill out, and we'll give you 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Give you 5 minutes on.
Or maybe it should be like you have to go to X amount of open mics before you get booked on a good show, and maybe politics should be like that. Like you have to do certain. I mean, obviously it kind of is, because you have to be like a governor and then like things like that.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like there's not enough things that they do once it gets up there. Like come on, like Trump he's a reality star. Let's just say what it is. Yes, he maybe had money, maybe he made money, all these things, but he's a showman, and that's what he did. He performed, and people were like, "Yeah."
What was this system that you?
A citizens assembly.
Can you look that up? Citizens assembly.
There were some articles about this I haven't gotten around to reading. The Greek.
Where did you hear this from?
It's been floated around. So I follow a lot of like academics on Twitter.
Okay.
And
tell me again, Citizens
Assembly.
Assembly.
There was a book recently, The Master's Tools: How Finance Wrecked Democracy and How We Can Fix It. A Citizens Assembly is kind of outlined in that book. I haven't gotten around to that yet. Another article came out from the Greek left-wing economist Yanis Varoufakis. I think he co-authored this. I think it was in The Guardian. He kind of outlines alternative governing structures moving forward. I think he posits a citizen assembly as well. There was a bit of reading I was hoping to get to before I came on, so I could talk about it in a more sophisticated way. But
No, this is a good start.
So it says a citizens assembly is a group of people selected by lottery to be demographically representatives of the wider public, tasked with learning about, deliberating on, and providing recommendations or binding decisions on complex policy issues, often described as mini-public. These assemblies act as a form of deliberative democracy to address issues like climate change or constitutional reform. Interesting.
Yeah, so one of the things like I've seen a citizen assembly addressed to is like there's a book I'm reading right now called The Deficit Myth by Stephanie Kelton, and one of her theses is that the national debt is not actually a problem for countries like the United States that issue its own currency. Like its debts are denominated in its own currency, so people will like scaremonger about the national debt, like, oh, we're in the $2.3 trillion of debt, except it's denominated in dollars, and who issues the dollar is the United States.
Right.
You cannot run out of money that you issue, and so she.
You know what? Keep on going.
So
that just doesn't make sense, right?
Right. So the thing is like so basically she talks about like in 1971 the international gold standard officially ended. And so the United States was unpegged to like a metallic currency, and so
in 1971.
1971, the Bretton Woods system, where the world was linked to the dollar and the dollar was linked to gold at $35.
Whatever you had in gold was you.
But then increasing deficits because of the Vietnam War, like that became unsustainable, and so Richard Nixon just said, "Okay, we're not doing that anymore." So at that moment, basically. policy space opened up for the federal government to issue as much currency as it needed to finance its various projects. And the idea is, because we are now untethered to gold, the United States has no solvency constraints anymore, but it does have an inflation constraint. So you don't have to worry about the U.S. running out of money. You have to worry instead about whether it's issuing too much money if it's going to cause inflation. And so the idea is, one of her theses is that because of this new position of the dollar being untethered to like a finite metal like gold, in principle, the government can fund things like a job guarantee program. So that way, like in recessions when businesses aren't hiring anymore, you can always turn to like a federal job as an employer of last resort. That way, like people aren't just losing their jobs and they're desperate now. Is like you can always rely on the federal government to give you a decent paying job and like decent benefits and things. And so the idea of a citizen assembly added to this is like the public decides what social spending goes into, what projects should be financed, like fixing schools, fixing roads, things like this. And again, there's always the money. The money is always there. It's just a matter of whether Congress is willing to.
That's what I never really understood. Why, if we're making the money, if we're issuing it, then why would we be considered like in a deficit, right? Meaning like we're owing all this money. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
The explanation is it's a hangover from the gold standard, because once upon a time, like you did owe that money to someone, and so something Stephanie Kelton goes into is that actually like we should maybe rename the debt, because that's not really what it is, right? So for example, like we're typically taught that what finances government spending is like taxes and then like borrowing. So either you tax the public and that's where you get the money, or you like raise money by selling treasury bills to investors and we promise to pay them interest in return. But actually, again, that has not been the case since 1971. So actually, in order to pay taxes to begin with, you need U.S. dollars. But where does the dollar come? It comes from the federal government. So the government has to spend the money into existence in order for the money to exist.
To be out in
to pay the taxes.
Form.
Yeah. So basically, the reason now that the U.S. government still sells treasuries is purely to support interest rates in private credit markets. Like there's not really any reason for it to raise the money.
So what is money? What is it attached to now? If it's not like the gold or anything like that, like what?
Yeah.
How do you stop it from? Well, again, I guess inflation, right? Of producing too much or having too much money out there, then. Right, but what for every dollar? What does it equate to, or what's behind it? Is there nothing? It's
so Kelton's story. Kelton is elaborating. This is called modern monetary theory. She says it's purely backed by taxes, because the federal government forces you to pay taxes. And that forces you to acquire U.S. dollars, right? So it's because the government requires these tax obligations, you are forced to use U.S. dollars, right?
Got it. So every time they say, oh, there's no money, there's budgets being cut, there's, like when they were trying to cut like SNAP and all that, like it's not really that there's no money. It's just.
There's always been the money. Yeah. So what's crazy is there's some people that suggest that I guess against his intentions, Donald Trump has proven to be the first modern monetary theory president. He's actually he has a really early interview, I think, before his first presidency. I think he's on CNBC or something like that. And someone asks him the question, like, should the United States fear federal default? And he just outright says, like, no, we can't default because we print the money. So he knew this. He knows this. And he's even behaving in such a way that the budget deficit doesn't matter. Like he increased He added to the deficit by funding ICE.
Yeah,
is what he and the crazy thing is with ICE he's functionally created a job guarantee program doing shit that no one asked for. Like he increased the budget deficit to fund ICE. That money came from nowhere.
Right.
So if he wanted, he could have funded like a federal job guarantee, fixing roads, fixing schools, like establishing care programs. No, instead he decides to fund like just kicking out people from the country, just minding their own business.
So what's happening now with So okay, because I understand like what I understood when I learned about money and all that was I still was under like not under the impression, but I understood I thought I understood how money worked with the gold, right? Which makes sense because you can only have as much money as you have something tangible. But now I had seen a couple headlines, I think last week, and they were saying that there's that government shutdown. Did you hear that? That's happening. Or it already happened? But it's with
Homeland Security,
Homeland
right?
Security because they've already run out of money from that. I think, how much was it? Like $50 billion or something that they
like
put
that.
in?
Yeah.
So now they've run out, and now a lot of these agents are out of jobs. So I'm thinking, what's stopping him from just bringing in again this imaginary,
Well, right now I believe it's sorry, I wish I were more formally trained in these things.
I know, and maybe this question was not for you. I think it's just me thinking like.
From what I understand, it's Congress has to decide whether to raise the budget ceiling or not. So it's an act of Congress whether they want to raise the budget ceiling. I actually think it's generally a good thing that they want to stop funding DHS because that's not a good thing. Like budget deficits are neutral. They could be used for good or for evil. I think Trump's been using it for evil. He did another thing. He printed like $20 billion to give to Argentina because their financial markets have been failing.
Oh yeah, I knew that he gave him 20. I knew
did he really?
That,
yeah,
but
he
I
did.
didn't know he printed like new money.
So you're telling me this guy can print out money and just give it to us?
Yeah.
My other question is not a question, just my. You said that he can.
We're all asking you.
No, I know, but sorry. So my other thought is, okay, so if you can never lose a job if these jobs are federal jobs, right? Can you turn any industry into a federal like job? Is that even a possibility to do? I'm just thinking outside the box here.
I'm thinking like maybe if it's needed, if it's something that you can prove
like people that work in like Edison, right? Or electricity or anything that's like really essential to electricity.
Living.
Right. I don't know.
I mean, there's
like, is that even a possibility?
It might be. I haven't finished the book yet, but what she's teased so far.
You're gonna have to come back when you finish the book.
Yeah. I think.
What is the book called, anyways?
It's called The Deficit Myth by Stephanie Kelton.
The Deficit Myth.
Yeah. So from what I understand, a lot of MMT people, their preferred.
What's that?
Modern monetary theory. This is the framework.
Okay.
That the book is working in. From what I understand, the federal job guarantee, the model is like care labor. So like, taking care of the elderly, like
perfect example, like anything in the medical field, doctors, nurses, hospitals.
So in principle, it could also be infrastructure as well, but it's like again, like being weary of like not building bridges to nowhere of things like very targeted social spending, strategic that can continue to produce an output of goods and services that can match the increase of dollars used to fund
that's what those jobs would be.
Among other things.
Among other things. Got it.
The basic idea is like what it could be anything at all. The idea is that the federal government steps in as like an automatic stabilizer,
right?
Meaning like if when economy takes a downswing, there's always something to backstop it from getting worse, which is that, I lost my job in the private sector. At least the federal government has my back. I can,
So what was the whole...
We're asking you again.
Okay,
sorry,
I
Matt.
mean, you know more than we do, so...
I'm just a dilettante. I read books.
That's a win for us. But I guess, again, it's not a direct question if you don't know it, but if you do, then great. But
I should start reading those kinds of books.
Yeah, not
on like the 20-year-old murder of Kurt Cobain.
Put your noggin to some good use.
Jesus Christ.
So what's like the whole... Because the other person that knows, I guess, a lot more is like my dad. So that's who I kind of have these conversations with. But what, like, when we got the stimulus check, like, I know it's to stimulate the economy or that's what it's like said. But what like do you know what goes hand in hand with that? Like, why do we need to stimulate the economy when things like that go out? Do you know?
Yeah, because you're talking about the COVID stimulus checks, right? Because everyone was losing their jobs and losing incomes, and so people aren't spending. And when people, John Maynard Keynes, British economist, has this line: "My spending is your income." So when everyone stops spending, everyone loses income because like that's their sales. That's right. And so the stimulus check was a form of government intervention to maintain the regular flow of sales in the system, so that way people maintain their jobs.
Got it. But then that trickled onto inflation, correct?
Yes. From what I understand, the issue with COVID inflation was supply shocks. So the world kind of shut down, right? Yeah. So supply chains were disrupted, and so that it introduces the supply can't keep up with the excess demand, and so that's what we're still recovering from that now, because
so then things
Trump
have to be more. They went up in price because now the demand is higher and the production wasn't as much.
And so supply can't keep up, and we're having issues with that now with the tariffs, because now imports are more expensive, and that's been offloaded onto other costs. So like inflation can be a monetary phenomenon. It can also be a supply shock phenomenon. The whole point of like MMT is to show that there's other reasons for inflation, and that if anything at all, MMT wants more fiscal responsibility, because it's also adding the other point that like sometimes the deficits are not enough. Sometimes there should be more. Taxation then becomes, since taxes don't fund federal spending, it becomes an inflation control device. So if ever like spending gets out of hand, you can't just tax that out of the system to like cool down macroeconomic overheating.
So hold on, I am.
You're lost.
Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, so what you just talked about, dumb it down for me. I'm an idiot, dude. I'm an idiot.
No, you're not.
No. So since taxes don't fund federal spending, the question is, okay, what do taxes actually do? The first thing MMT says is it's an inflation control device, right? So when you spend dollars into the system, it can become too much, at which point taxes are then levied to remove dollars from the system to cool down overspending. Another thing taxes can do is disincentivize certain behaviors. So like sin taxes, we call it. So like taxing like carbon emissions, cigarettes,
alcohol.
Those taxes in fact like are not expected to raise revenue. It's to discourage certain behaviors. And then the
So what do they say about those? The sin taxes?
Sin taxes, they're not expected to raise revenue.
Oh, okay.
Right, like
gotcha.
so like again,
they have their own purpose,
It's not to raise revenue. Right. It's to disincentivize some behaviors, because you don't want to get penalized. So it's taxes are an inflation control device. It's to disincentivize certain behaviors, and redistributional. So, for example, like the wealthy are just hoarding dollars and they're not spending them, and they're not investing, and so you tax that, you redistribute that around.
Oh, okay.
But the bottom
line.
So
those are the three main reasons for taxes.
Might be missing one or two, but like among other things, yeah. But the bottom line is taxes do not fund federal spending. The government stands in no need of taxing to raise money,
so
because
when
they
people
issue the currency.
are saying, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
When people are like, oh, look at where our tax money is going, Trump's on a private jet again. Yeah. It's not really, or is it?
So state taxes can be wasted. So there's a distinction between currency issuers and currency users. States and local governments are currency users, so they can run out of money. So, for example, if like I don't know, the state of California, they decided to raise taxes to fund ICE, right? Like that's a legitimate reason to be like, oh, I didn't want this. Why are my taxes? Because the state of California uses the currency. It can't issue California dollars. It uses federal. But the federal government, those federal taxes don't go anywhere. Like it's literally just destroying the money.
Oh shit.
See, and this I'm so glad that you are on and having these conversations with us, because I think that circling back, I guess not closing my argument, but circling back to what I was saying earlier, where we are so involved in like the files and the files and the files, and it's like this isn't feeding our brain. If anything, it's kind. I mean, okay, let's say that it's opening your eyes to what's truly happening and things that we already knew, that so many people were corrupt. But what is it actually helping by going on the website and deep diving and hours and hours and hours? But you knowing all of this and learning all of this, things that we really do need to learn, how our country is run and how things that we use on a daily basis, like money and currency and, knowing the inflations and all that, I think that's more powerful than like conspiracy theories. And I know conspiracy theories are fun and everything, but like you said, what are we really going to do with reading the files? Like, what are we really? But if we have control of knowing and knowledge of knowing where our money, how our money's, allocated, and knowing other forms of like government, I think that's like pretty powerful in just kind of educating yourself. And maybe let's say you don't even do anything with it, but just knowing how things work, I think is like can be very productive.
Yeah, because I kind of came of age during Occupy, like the 08 and 2010s, and nothing came out of Occupy because the demands were incoherent. Like no one really had any concrete demands, and so I just kind of saw Occupy fizzle out, and I became vested. I became like interested in like, okay, what actually can we do to issue social change, right? Like what's available, like what are the mechanics of potentially moving forward, creating like an equitable, fair society. I don't know, that kind of motivated my reading habits, I guess. I wanted answers into, it's not enough to complain. It's not enough to be like, the world is fucked, and just like, because that's just throws you in a pit of despair with no way out. And I'm always thinking about, okay, how do we move past this?
What was one of the first books that you read to get started and all that?
Oh man, you know what? He's canceled now because the Epstein's fight. Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky
is fucked. He's fucked. So I my senior year of high school, my English class, we had to write like a research paper, and I wrote mine on like anarchism. And one of the sources I used was an essay from Noam Chomsky called Notes on Anarchism, and it opened my mind to thinking about politics above Democrat, Republican. It introduced me to this concept of like libertarian socialism, like because the Soviet Union and Stalinism kind of like poisoned the well as far as socialist discourse goes, and Noam Chomsky's paper it introduced me to this conception of socialist thinking that was like anti-authoritarian, decentralized,
and he's like right there with.
Can you put him on there?
Yeah,
can you put him on there?
I'm in mourning.
I'm
devastated.
Man.
Yes.
Select that. Click. Make that. Oh
I'm devastated.
Noam Chomsky advised Epstein about horrible media coverage. Files show. Oh shit.
Yeah.
When is this something recently that happened?
Very, very recently. Yeah. Because we know this now because of the files release. He was advising Epstein on how to handle the his fucking pedophilia convictions.
Oh my god. Really?
The email was like, if you look up the email, Chomsky's straight up just like, I've seen how they've mistreated you in the media.
Oh, so that's this guy.
That's
okay,
this guy.
I heard about this. I heard about this 100%.
Yeah.
That somebody was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
so he was his PR team?
Pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
Right?
So this guy like really like fed my political imagination like in my teens and 20s, and then I grow up and I realize, oh, he's a fuckwit.
But isn't that like the most disappointing thing, is that these people that we think or thought were like holding up our country, and they're the most freaking evil people? But I think that that's something that Gil and I were having a conversation about the other day when I brought up the whole beef jerky thing, because he was like, oh, that's gross. And I was like, yeah, but if you think about it, these people are like billionaires, people with money, people with everything at their fingertips, that they don't get like a high from anything anymore. There's the average things that we like to do or that might bring happiness or even any type of like what is it called, like endorphin, they don't, because they have so much of whatever they can. So they keep pushing the envelope to something that's even riskier and riskier and riskier, because they crave those endorphins that they don't get anymore from.
I think it's just it's built in our human existence on to reach for the next high, basically, to
yeah, but then you also have to be fucked up to go as far as they do. But that's my thought process of why they do it, and it's all these rich elite
they're
men.
addicted to it.
Yeah.
An addiction to anything will cause you to lie, to scheme, to I don't know, to just make up shit in your own mind to see it play out the way you want it to.
I agree.
They're addicted to whatever. I don't know.
And and maybe like this man, like he's probably very smart, very book smart, very knowledgeable. And I don't know, like, why put your freaking mind to do that? But
yeah, I don't know. It's I'm definitely still mourning.
But he knew what Epstein was doing.
He knew.
He knew.
This was after the conviction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's like I was just watching a video about this actually recently. British journalist Owen Jones. He like a big like kind of labor left-wing guy. He interviewed like I guess a Chomsky scholar, and I guess Chomsky had like basically his entire life he lived like two separate lives. On the one hand, he was this like dude that was like super critical of US foreign policy and the legacies of American imperialism, and on the other hand, he was an MIT linguist, and the MIT is like the Department of Defense's university, you know. So on the one hand, he's like he presented as like a man of the people, and then on the other hand, like he was kind of CIA aligned, you know.
Right. Okay, so you read his book first.
I read his paper, and
so it was a
short paper.
Okay.
It was in a volume called "For Reasons of State." It was a collection of essays.
But let me ask you this, okay? Let me just throw a hypothetical out there, okay? So based on this, right? He wrote a piece. Let's just say anybody, right? Anybody wrote a piece, and then years later, something like this happens. Like, what are you supposed to do with that information? Are you supposed to completely throw out what you learned from like a person like this because of their involvement in something like this? Like, is there something like, what are you supposed to do with that type of information, right? Like that you've learned from, let's say, like, do you know who Napoleon Hill is?
Is that Think and Grow Rich?
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't read it, but yeah.
Say you've read it, right? Say which I did. I read Think and Grow Rich many years ago, a couple times, and years ago, like, then we find out he's in the Epstein files, right? And I built my whole working like philosophy and on his book, right? And what am I supposed to do? Like, after he like, what do you do? Like, what do you do at that point? Do you completely, like, okay, because he's involved in something like the Epstein files, do you just throw away that information that you've built your whole working like livelihood on? Like, I don't get that part.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Well, what are you supposed to do?
I do think
it's a hypothetical.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I think one example of like, so I do think
it's a crazy one. You don't have to answer it. I'm just throwing that out there, you know?
I don't think you discredit the work entirely.
Yeah. Like Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Like, do you not like watch Rush Hour because of that, or watch any of his comedy specials or anything because of that? Like, What are you supposed to do?
But I think that Chris Tucker is different, right? Because Chris Tucker, you can not watch his movies and not give him ratings, not give him these things.
Right.
But someone that you like, the book that you read and that knowledge that you gained from it, I think that's kind of hard to erase from your brain.
Right.
Than not watch like a movie. So it's kind of a little different, right?
I think it does ineluctably feed into the interpretation of the work. You definitely cannot read it in the same way. Because Neil Gaiman was someone I felt this way about as well. I loved the novel Stardust. And then it eventually came out that actually he was a sexual predator. And so it's hard for me to read that book now.
Yeah. Well, now with the context.
And the context has forever changed.
Right.
Right. So I think like, what you do with that information again is up to you. But like, I just think, that now, feeds into the interpretation of in the current context. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I do generally think I don't think it's entirely possible to separate art from artists. Because that's part of the context.
Oh
behind the art.
That's true. That I've heard that too.
It's the context behind the art.
Right.
I read another book. Do you know Comedy Book by Jesse David Fox?
Yes.
I read it, really good. There's a fascinating chapter on that. Like he talks about like Louis C.K. because like a part of Louis' appeal was being like, oh, I'm just an everyday guy. And then, he talks about the dirty thoughts that like we all have, and we're just like, we get catharsis because he's like, oh yeah, he has the same fucked up thoughts. And then the thing he did came out and was like, oh no, you really are the piece of shit that you say you are. Right. Like, so he violated the trust that we had in him. Right.
Yeah.
And so like, it's hard to watch those old specials in like the same way now. And I can't like force you to not take that into consideration when you watch it. Again, it's part of the interpretation.
I thought you were going to say something about Jesse Fox.
Oh, no, that's it.
I know, I was like, no, what did he do? Is he in the files too? No.
Just as an example of like, like the inability of some people to separate art from artists.
You're a whole lot ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go for it, I'm sorry. Go.
Like another person, like the reverse thing of like the opposite of Chomsky. So for example, like I'm a big fan of Friedrich Nietzsche, and if you read his works, he says a lot of awful shit. But when you look at his life, how he conducted himself in ordinary life, he was a totally pleasant guy. So that's kind of the reverse case of like he'll say some like awful shit, but because you know that he was like an otherwise decent person in his regular life, you have to think about, okay, what could this really mean? Like he'll talk about like he'll kind of defend what he calls master morality, and where you kind of disregard like the suffering of others, and that kind of sounds fucked up. But then you have to think, okay, no, but this guy was also a fragile, sickly person. Right. So that can't be the interpretation, because if I interpret that literally, right, Nietzsche's fucked on day one. Right. So it has to mean something more than that. So I like, I do think the person behind the work has a lot to contribute to the way the work is received, the interpretation, how you read it properly, I suppose.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's all context, timing. Dude, I love that comedy book.
It's fantastic. Yeah. I like kind of quit stand up for a bit, and then I read it again. And I was like, no, I gotta come back.
Yeah,
that's right. You do stand up. We're all here.
Well, the timing aspect of when he was it in that one where he talks about Saturday Night Live, or
he does talk about it. I forget if the context is timing.
Yeah,
I know he talks about timing.
Yeah,
I don't remember if it's SNL exactly.
It was the episode, not the episode, the chapter on timing, and he talks about because I just finished Live from New York.
Oh, okay.
The book on like the history of Saturday Night Live, and they actually talk about like the whole the 9/11, what happened, how they didn't do the show for 2 weeks because of everything that was going on within that week. And it's just that chapter on timing like really like put in perspective, like timing isn't just like timing in your jokes. Timing is like it's literal timing of a joke in like the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I didn't really understand it that way until I heard it from him, and I was like, oh, okay. It's not just like verbal timing. It's not just like literal timing, like when you're, saying your joke. Like it's actual like timing, like literal time, like a clock in the world when you tell a joke.
I think there's another chapter. I think it's the chapter on politics, and he talks about when Roe v. Wade was overturned. Right. Everyone was just kind of upset about it. Like, people were fearful. And he talks about how, like, in the shows, like, immediately following that decision, people had to talk about it because they couldn't talk about anything else. People wanted to be comforted. People wanted to be, like, alleviated of their anxieties. And so, like, to be like a decent comic, like in that occasion, you kind of had to talk about it. And I remember reading that, and I was like, I agree, but it can't be me. Like, I'm not a really political comic. It's not that I avoid talking about it. I just don't think it's funny. I'm pissed and I'm scared. Like and I feel like there's different opinions about this. Like, I do feel like a comic's first responsibility is to be funny. And if you can make it political, if you could deliver like a concrete, powerful message, like through the medium of jokes, like I think all power to you. Like that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to do. Right. And so if I'm like booked on a show and something fucked up like that just happens, I'm like, I don't know how to talk about that right now. Like,
but also too, like a comics, I feel, right, is you have to say things that are in your voice and that are attached to your persona. And if that's not attached to your voice or persona, then that's what is that? That's not really your part of your act. Like, you can't beat yourself up if you don't have anything that's remotely close to a political joke. I don't have any. I've done one political joke. It did okay, and I was just like, okay, all right. I'm glad I can do that, but it's just I don't. That's not me now. That's not me right now. Maybe in next couple of years, maybe, but it probably won't be because I'm not a very political person. That's not who am I.
Right.
That's not who I am. So it's I wouldn't beat yourself up about it.
I do struggle to reconcile like these disparate, I think, facets of me. Like, I'm like super into like monetary history and like all that. And that's not funny.
Would you be able to write a joke about it?
I don't think so. No? I don't think so. I do think it's funny, the idea that like I was thinking about like how absurd it is that like taxes don't fund spending. Like the reason they tax us is to force us to use the money. It was like I don't what are you gonna use it? Like I think that's silly, but like I can't figure out the joke. Yeah. But it's just like there are things about me that like I think about a lot and care deeply about, and I can't fit it in the format of a joke, and so it's just kind of like.
With
figuring
time,
out how to reconcile.
I think with time, it'll happen.
But I also feel like not everything needs to be a joke.
Sure.
Like kind of what you're saying. Like you feel strongly about it, that you don't feel that you need to make a joke about it, or that there has to be a joke coming from you, right? That because it's not something that's too funny. It's something that you're actually worried about. Because sometimes I go like to the comedy shows and I'm just like, okay, like, just
what do you mean?
Like there's some jokes like recently with like ICE and everything that's happening, and I think like there's been a couple jokes that comedians have done that I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny, but then there's some jokes that I'm just like, like it's just not in a tasteful way.
Like they're just saying it because that's the hot ticket item right now.
Exactly. And
That's
also,
they're the buzzwords right now. So I'm going to use these in my act.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really that you think that something that happened that really was funny or something.
Also, too, right, is have you heard of the I just heard this the other day, the term clapter?
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
When you say something that like everyone in the room agrees with for the sake of applause. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's also like a component of what you're saying, because they have this this political viewpoint or a political viewpoint, and there's no cleverness, there's no joke, there's no setup, there's no punchline. They're just saying it knowing that everybody in the room is going to agree with, and they get an applause, they get some woohoos, and that's not even it can be associated with politics, but it can also be associated with, I don't know, like women with big booties, or like you know what I mean? Like it can be used. It's very lazy. It's a very lazy thing to especially in an act. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But it's used in that matter. I define it, or I file it next to what you say about comics just saying all these buzzwords just to get like an approval and a reaction from the audience.
Do you remember recently? I'm not gonna say where or who or anything, but recently I went with you to a comedy show, and there was a couple of it was like an open mic / comedy, and there was a couple of people that went up for their first time, and there was a group of white men that were like hyping each other up, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go up. And I don't know if you remember, I think you might have been outside actually, but one of them went up there and he's like, this is my first time doing stand-up, and then everybody's like, well, whatever. And then the first thing that came out of his mouth, like his like joke, I'm doing quotations, but his joke was, oh, I'm usually more racist than this, but I can tell by the crowd or something like that maybe I shouldn't. And I was just like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't.
Right.
Like, and to me, I think, okay, what are the common themes right now that's happening? ICE, racism, all these things. And I'm thinking like, does he really think that's funny? Like, is that something in his brain that he's like, you know what, this is gonna kill. Like, people are gonna laugh and it's gonna kill, and it's something that's relevant. And then after that, he made an ICE joke, and again, it was just like everybody was just like, okay, like get this guy off. And I think he didn't even do like the full time, and he took himself off, and then he got off and he was like bright red, and then he was laughing, and then his friends were like patting him on the back and everything. And to me, I just thought like, and again, this is not all comics, and maybe it was his first time and he thought it was funny, but again, I don't think that everything has to be funny.
Right. First
or am I wrong?
No. I think that's generally right. I just as far as like,
I think there's no wrong or right with that particularly, because I mean, maybe to a racist audience he'd be hilarious.
True.
Or to new comics he'd be funny. It's all
and I know that comedy is subjective. Like, just because I was offended or I'm
not saying that I like that particularly, but I'm just saying, like, that's it's very hard to talk about that with I don't know, with
I guess if the joke was well structured and there was a point to the joke, then I would have been like, okay. But when you just go up there and say something and you think that it's just
right,
I don't know.
I think given that was his first time. I feel like a lot of like a first time, like first year stand up trap people fall into is like, hey, if I'm as offensive as possible, like you're just kind of relying on shock.
Or really,
it's not enough for me. I need to talk to you off stage to know who you are. Like you know who was someone. Has Dave Diaz been on the show?
No.
You know Dave Diaz.
I know Dave.
He's someone. I saw him on stage. I was like, this guy's insane. This guy's so scary. And then I talked to him off stage. Like, oh no, he's a sweetheart. He's just psychotic on stage. That's I because I've said some awful things in my first year, just trying to figure it out. And like, I don't know. I feel like I've done this long enough to where like what you say on stage isn't necessarily an indication of who you are as a person. Like people try to be Jezelnik. People try to be like fucked up because they're like, oh, hey, this is a formula that works. And, you know, that's really hard. And that doesn't excuse them being bad. The way I looked at comedy, this is probably my Catholic upbringing. Bombing is like a sin that can only be penanced by getting better.
Yeah.
You know, like I've just subjected people to like a fucking awful 3-5 minutes, and I can only make it up to you by getting better down the road.
Right? That's true.
That's true. That's a good way of looking at it.
That's the only time you only can get better is if the more bombs you get, right? So, I mean, that's completely true.
But speaking to like the thing about like not everything has to be a joke. I guess the thing I've been struggling with is like just there's a part of me that doesn't get expressed. Like I don't really find an adequate outlet for this expression. Like, you know, my weird like literary you know, reading interests.
You'll find it, dude.
And I'm just like, I can't figure it out as a joke right now, but it's like, okay, what do I do with this information? Because I think that was the Jesse David Fox talks about like Nanette, Hannah Gadsby, and it was like part of like the thesis of that show is like, what do you do with trauma that there really is no joke for? You know, like how do I adequately talk about it? And then, like, you know, how she felt like pigeonholed as a comic, and like everything you say is expected to be funny, and like what if there's no joke? What if there is really no upside, you know? And like how do I express that? And so she kind of had to like trick people into coming into what seems like a conventional stand-up show, and actually no, it was actually kind of a dark kind of journey. Right. Like, and people had like an adverse reaction when this first came out, but like I went into it knowing what it was. And so it was kind of like I walked away from that special and I was like, oh yeah, what do I do with this shit that I can't turn into a joke, you know?
Do you want to turn it into a joke like later down? I mean, because you're a very well-read dude. And I do you know Johnny Gold?
Yeah.
So he's a frequent listener of the podcast, and I won't point out who, but I've had a guest on, and he was like, wow, like I had no clue that this person was, or this comic was like he's very intelligent. Like I don't understand why, you know, he wouldn't use any of his, there's some intelligence on the stage, but why he wouldn't, you know, talk about the topics that we talked about on the podcast on stage. And I was like, yeah, you're completely 100% right. But I mean, I know that there's I think it's tough. Like there's and Johnny's been doing it for a very long time, and I think it's just it's a little bit it's difficult. I think it can be difficult, like if you're just trying to figure this stuff out, and I don't know, because I'm not. I feel like I don't have, like I really don't have much input into that on why that is. I just default to say that's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily need to turn it into a joke per se. It's just like I need to find something to do with this.
I think so.
You know,
right?
I haven't figured out what that is yet. Like, I don't know. Maybe getting into like, I don't know.
Like, what are your interests?
I don't know.
What are your interests that you don't talk about on stage?
I'm really into the history of philosophy. I really like political economy. Mm-hmm. I like literature. Yeah. Kind of things hard to, like, technically dense subjects that are kind of, I don't really know what the joke is here.
Do you also feel, and this is not like, I'm not putting words in your mouth or anything, but I'm thinking, because sometimes like when Gil comes up with a joke and then he'll tell me like, oh, what do you think about this? And if it takes me a minute to think about the joke a little too much, I tell him, no, it's not going to work. Like not everyone is going to understand that. Do you think that some of your like the interest and what you think you want to turn into a joke do you think that might be holding you back a little because you feel like, and again, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it's just something that to think about. Like, do you think that maybe people won't understand it, and maybe you haven't found a way of like how to make the joke to be understandable and still funny?
It's more that I just don't think it's funny. I just haven't figured out. I don't like. I think I generally try to respect the audience's intelligence.
Yeah.
Like if I say something maybe a little too esoteric and they don't get it, I feel like it's on me. Like I didn't communicate it properly. I do feel like stand-up is this communication game where we're trying to like meet halfway.
Yeah.
Like I thought of something in the shower that I think is really, really funny, and then I say it and no one gets it. I'm just like, okay, no.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny. I need to communicate that properly.
Yeah,
like
how do you turn it into that I can... So that's what I tell him is, okay, maybe if you change a couple words, or maybe you're missing a part of a joke that only he knows what it is and not everybody else. So if you include that. So I think what you're saying is like that's solid.
Yeah, but it's just is like when we were talking about the fucking the budget deficit. That's not funny. Like like I just care a lot about it.
Did you see my face on how confused I was? That was funny. That was hilarious.
But I feel like there could be something there.
There could be something. Is there something?
I care as a concerned citizen, but as a comic, it's like, I don't know.
But so I'm glad you brought that up because I think it was like months ago. I think the last time we met up at well, we didn't meet up, but you were there at.
I think I last saw you at the Ontario Improv.
There was the Improv, and then the time before that was the Chatterbox.
Right, yeah.
And it was
set of the night right before they stopped it.
Was it?
I think
no, it was like before that.
Oh, okay.
It was before that. It was set on the night also. No, was it? I think it was whatever. It doesn't matter. But I did have a joke about a movie quote joke, and I used like the most randomest. What movie? It was like Casablanca or some shit like that. I don't know. But the crux of the joke was doing movie quotes, right? And I was gonna completely like trash that until you're like, no, dude, like I get where you were going with that. Like, right. I guess just people they didn't know what movie you were talking about, right? Uh-huh. And I took what you told me and completely wrote it, and with the same idea, completely wrote it, and like it's like one of which
with a movie that most people know.
And I took that into consideration. I was like, okay, well, maybe the idea is there. I just gotta, tweak it a little bit. And over the next, couple months, I developed it, and I was like, oh, okay, now it's like one of the. I think it's come to become like a really solid.
So the joke's
premise.
After you. No,
it's dedicated to it.
I have a vague memory of that, but I'm glad I was able to help you out on something.
Oh yeah, well, seriously, like I rarely take advice, or I take advice, but I think just you telling me, hey, dude, like that, I get where you're going. I guess people don't really understand. I think it was like it was the most random movie. I think it was like Casablanca. It was like something ridiculous like that. It was like an old movie quote. But yeah.
And the two guys that read lots of books were the only ones I knew. You both, the twins?
Pretty much. Yeah, I think it was Casablanca.
So what?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. What movie is
that's
that
that's
from?
Casablanca.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Gone with the Wind.
Yes. Oh, okay.
That's Gone with the Wind.
So it was Gone with the Wind. That's what it was. And you're like, yeah, I can't believe nobody knows Gone with the Wind.
It's a 3-hour movie and it's racist.
You're like, it'll pass over people's heads. So here's a question for both of you. So what do you think? I mean, I already know what you guys are going to say, but I still want to ask it. When you make jokes, right? When you create these jokes or do comedy, do you make the jokes for yourself because you think it's funny? Or do you make jokes because you think people are going to find it funny?
I think it's because I think it's funny. Because when I started, like, I think my two biggest influences were Demetri Martin and Mike Birbiglia. Demetri Martin had a special called If I don't know if you'd seen that one.
I haven't seen it.
It's on YouTube. Yeah. The premise is like Demetri Martin, like, he dropped out of law school and he was trying to figure out like what to do with the rest of his life, and like if he had made a mistake, and one day he just opened up the dictionary and looked up the word if, and I think he found like maybe 6 different definitions. And so, like, each act of the show is devoted to, like, a different definition of if. And it was very personal. It was very cathartic. It was, like, I really liked the whole, like, getting into personal shit and, like, making it funny. It was, like, a vindication of his past mistakes. And, like, I just, like, I love a good, like, coming-of-age story, you know? And so that was really cool to me. And then Mike Birbiglia was, like, very similar as well. Like, Sleepwalk With Me, I listened to, and that's about his, like, sleeping disorder. Like, he I don't know if you've heard it, but like, I guess one day on the road, he has like a really bad, sleepwalking. And, once he was on the road, I think he was like staying at a hotel, like 3 or 4 stories up. And he had a dream that he was being chased by a missile, and he jumped out the window.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And, that was his moment. Like, okay, I got to see a doctor about this, 'cause he was running from it. And then like, so it was just, I really liked these really intimate, personal storytelling kind of sets. It's just like very cathartic to listen to. And I remember when I started, I was like, I want to do something like that. I want to make people feel something, you know? So like, I feel like a lot of what I talk about is informed by like my life, and then just trying to figure out like, how do I make this amusing to you people? You know, like because I think it's funny, and I want to share this with you, and I'm trying to figure this out, you know?
Definitely.
So you do it for because you think it's funny.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, like, I'm trying to entertain myself.
Oh yeah.
and then like, okay,
how can you tailor it? Yeah, basically that's the same for me. Like, if I have an idea that I think is that this could be, you know, potentially, you know, amusing. All right. First, I'm the person that I need to laugh at it first. Or laugh with it first, and if it doesn't pass that, then I don't even try to use it. You know what I mean? Like, even basically, what, you know how like when you go out and do an open mic or do a show, and then somebody says, "Hey, you should," they give you a tag, but like, 'cause it happens to me, they give you a tag, and you're like, I wouldn't say that.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or you should say, you know, F in this, F in that. I don't really curse, and I do, but I plant them, you know, plant them in certain ways, but I wouldn't say that. Like, if they give you like a punchline or a punch, or they try to punch it up and it's not in your voice, like I wouldn't even know how to say this. You know what I mean? So I think first it needs to pass like the me test. Like, this needs to be me first of all, and then you go try out. At least this is the process for me. I go try it out and kind of tailor it for everybody else. So that way we're all in the loop of what I'm trying, the story I'm trying to tell, I guess. But it's for me first. I'm number one. And then the audience.
But it makes sense, because if you don't believe it, you're not going to perform it. So how do like big comedians,
at least that's for me, I don't know.
How do big comedians...
I could be wrong. We could be wrong. I don't know.
Let me finish my thing.
Could be wrong.
How do big comedians that have writers, because a lot of comedians have comedy writers, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've heard Chris Rock has like writers' rooms.
Yeah, they're not his jokes. They're somebody else making a joke for him. Like, what? Then how does? Not that how does that work? But I'm saying, like,
I think you have to know the person's voice.
Yeah,
you have to know what they would say, and not just voice on like how they would say it, but like their point of view. Like, you have to understand their perspective on certain things and certain situations.
I also think there's nothing inherently wrong about, like workshopping. Like if we're like workshopping material and you give me a line, is that you're giving me a line in my voice, right? Like it's not necessarily something that you would say, but it's it's so sometimes jokes. I'll come up with jokes in conversations, right? Like if I just had like an insane conversation with someone recently, and like technically that's their joke, I guess. And I'm just relaying something insane that they said. Except the reason it makes it mine is because, like, I don't know. It's my experience, right? I'm adding commentary to something that they said. I mean, I don't know. Especially if the people in on the writer's room or whatever are like, they've agreed, like, hey, yeah, you can use anything I say. Like, there's another line I use that, like, I got at a roast, and it was like, it was just such a good line that can only be used in that occasion. That it's like I talked to the guy and he's like, yeah, it's yours now. You can have it. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Nice. Okay, that was it. That was my question.
You've done writer's room? You've done
I've done a couple of those mics. Yeah. Like at like Fourth Wall or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But other times it's just like I meet up with a friend and we just talk about
that's
material
cool.
that we've been working on.
I got to try to do that more. Honestly, it's hard. I don't know. For me, it is.
Well, also because I'm a far cry from this right now, but like I've thought about eventually one day doing a writer's job where you're basically writing jokes for other people, and so trying to get
that's so fun
in the headspace of like okay, like how do I write in a more general way, right, for other people, either in like a script or a monologue or something like that.
I guess that's the approach that I try to take with. You remember at the beginning of the podcast where I said that I did like a political like topic, like it was like a current political topic. I think it was in whatever. It was some comedy book that I was reading and like some exercises on how to write topical material, and I kind of like use that formula to come up with that topical joke, and I was like, whoa, it's pretty fun. And I feel that using that, like writing topical jokes, are you're using that a different part of your brain to write material other than just writing from your perspective. Same thing with writing material for other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I used to. I did like an exercise with a friend once where like we would search the web for like various headlines, and then if we found like an interesting story, we'd read it for a bit, and then set 5 minutes on the clock to try to write a joke about that.
Dude,
like a Weekend Update style joke.
Oh, that's fun.
Just to like for the exercise, and the point was not to write. The point was to just write a joke, not like
it didn't have to kill, or it had to be funny.
It has to be recognizably a joke. Like, oh, okay, there's like a punchline. Just to force yourself to write.
I'm gonna try that, dude. I'm gonna try that.
I'm trying to do more like just exercise to force myself to write.
You have to.
Like I do some like riff mics where it's like you talk about audience suggestions, like no material allowed, and that's a good way to force myself to write like on stage, like in the moment. You know what's
so weird that when I'm trying to do that, like sitting down and just thinking of like a random topic, I'm saying that I can't do it, but I just got to try. But if I do something like that in front of an audience, I'm able to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that just being up there in front of people with the pressure and I guess the energy of the room, I'm able to do that. But if it's just me sitting by myself at my desk, choosing a random topic, it's kind of a little bit hard for me because there's nothing on the table. Like I'm not losing anything at that moment.
There's also something about like in the moment in front of an audience, and you're forced to speak, there's like some free association going on, right? That's kind of hard to tap into, like when you're in like you're sitting down and you're trying to intentionally write a joke.
Yeah.
It's kind of when you're up there and you're forced to like let your unconscious just kind of like run wild, that like maybe you accidentally say something that's funny and
or the way you say it.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But Matt, this was fun, dude.
This is cool. I'm glad to be here.
You had fun?
Oh yeah.
Tell us where we can find you and what you got coming up.
You can find me at Mat Salud, at MAT_SALUD. Not much going on right now, but follow me and you can see various shows I'm on here and there.
Cool. And how's that Astro City? How's it?
It's cool. It's cool. I work there now.
Oh,
Mondays.
dude, I forgot. You know what we forgot to talk about? You were in a competition with Alex Durazo.
Oh yeah. You just had him on the show, right? Yeah. It was cool. It was good. Yeah.
You have 30 seconds to talk about it now.
It was good. A really fun learning experience. Alex Durazo crushed. Congrats to Matt Kinney for winning as well. Durazo won. It was a great honor to make the final round. It was good.
How long were you guys doing that competition for?
It was like a week. I think like 4 rounds.
That is super. Yeah. And you were doing what, stand up like every night?
Basically,
like consecutive?
Basically, yeah.
Jeez.
That's fun. Do you feel like that you've grown like as a stand up from that experience?
For sure. Their applications for the next festival they're taking submissions now. I highly recommend everyone apply.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Where can we find those applications at?
Astronaut City, the website. They're taking applications right now.
Sweet.
You're gonna play?
Again?
No, Gil.
Yeah,
Are
you should. I don't know. I feel like my set hasn't changed enough, I think, for me to apply. But maybe I will. I don't know. I'm still up in there. Discounted submissions are now up until February 28th. So.
Oh.
I think right now it's 25. I think after February 28th, it's like 35 or something like that.
Maybe I will submit just to...
You should do it. Everyone should do it. It was a lot of fun.
Just to do it. Yeah. Where is it? Arcadia?
Arcadia, that's right.
Is Arcadia far from here, do you know?
From here, it was like an hour. I'm like 20 minutes from there. I'm coming from the San Gabriel Valley.
Oh.
But well worth the time, I think.
Yeah, I'll try it. See you guys. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
The Mind Buzz Podcast.
Peace.